Atul, I know you're pretty into integrated project delivery. We've talked about that before. You've written some books on it, and I'm
Yeah.
really excited to talk about that a bit more. Can you share, including maybe some IPD thoughts, some of the methods that you've seen successful that really do bring that predictability to our projects? Like what can people do, whether it's large or small, that offer some more certainty to make us confident in circumstances and situations?
Yeah, so I'll mention two things. One is bringing the right key players as early as you can on a construction project, during even the design phase. And then, like Tim mentioned, utilizing, methods like virtual design and construction, like a LOD 400, 500, BIM, to resolve all the issues, incorporate their knowledge into that, into the coordination process, so that you have that opportunity to really knock it out of the park during construction.
Yeah.
Those two methods, and I think there's a few other things that we have experienced in terms of providing incentives for collaboration to the players that you bring in. Utilizing the lean construction methods from a process perspective. So there's a variety of things, but I think those are the things that I would mention.
And I love your mention of lean construction here too, because it's such a strong tool for our teams as they start thinking through how they can apply that. I had a wonderful conversation with Ariana Alviar from Bolt Company a while back, and she is very focused on just bringing lean methodologies into her projects. And we have so much we can learn from our friends in the manufacturing space. And obviously, manufacturing and construction are not one-to-one. There are very different environments. The site conditions are differing, but I think as we increase, the usage of either modular construction or offsite prefabrication or a variation of these, we can add more certainty, as you're alluding to here. And I think the lean methodologies that we're starting to see more and more often discussed in construction are likely a good starting point for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We have been practitioners of lean for a while, and I think one of the things you mentioned. I think our industry is going to continue to face the lack of skilled labor workforce. And like you said, the pressures on the project teams is not reducing. The owner is going to demand the same type of performance. So the only way to do a lot of this is to bring those sort of that manufacturing thinking into the construction process. And we are seeing a lot of experimentation that we are doing, others are doing in terms of modularization, both volumetric modularization plus flat walls, for example, we are doing, and that's only going to increase. And I think it's for the right reason, for basically delivering those predictability that the owner wants.
Yeah, and it adds that element of safety as we're able to control so much more about that process. You have less folks on site. There's so many layers of exploring these innovative methods, and I feel people are also starting to be more accepting of them as well, because I know there's been hesitancy for a long time, especially early on, where they go, okay, maybe we can prefab our casework or use modular or something there, and they weren't really thinking broader about the scope of the project. And I think we've kind of turned that upside down in the last 3 to 4 years as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the key enabler, again, from my perspective, is I think what I think a lot of folks in manufacturing call like the design for manufacturing and assembly. So you have to bring that sort of component-based or modular sort of design thinking into the process. And a lot of our design partners that we talk to are already sort of thinking about that and really trying to incorporate that into the process so that they can enable a lot of those things to happen. So it's really good to see when we sort of see that on projects.
Oh, absolutely. And if you're trying to think through that when construction's already started, you're very much thinking about it too late. And I think that comes back to your early point of just that 360 feedback loop and getting the players involved earlier. And I think also, just helping our owners understand some of these choices sooner as well. And I think the relationships with serial builders and the contractors they work with are increasingly important, because there's so much knowledge sharing there, and also it just really empowers the owner to have so much more information at their fingertips when they've built out their processes and they've thought through the tools that they want to use to offer more certainty and visibility. And obviously the owners want predictability and knowing when the project's going to wrap up, and so they can start having their tenants occupy the space. And so It's a lot of moving parts, but I think the tools that we have available now have put us in a really fantastic position.
Yeah, I used to say that I think the tools were a limiting factor, like 6, 7 years ago. I don't think tools are a limiting factor anymore. I think it's our ability to design an organization where we could use them at their full potential, and then a process that really would deliver results. So I've really believe that I think the technology is sort of democratized over the last few years.
Yeah, it's no longer just the VDC team that's empowered to use technology, and that's, I think, an exciting pivot because
Yeah.
now everybody has the chance to improve their workflows or have more access to data, especially to inform the decisions they make instead of using fully gut feel. There's so much to be said there. So Tim, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on introducing more predictability to these projects as well. Do you have any other tricks up your sleeve that Atul hasn't mentioned already?
Pulling tricks up my sleeve. Now, I mean, really, what our team focuses mainly on is first identifying what challenges the team is going through. There's so much new technology coming out, right? So many solutions coming out. You can easily get distracted, I think.
Oh yeah, shiny new toy
right.
syndrome is what I call it.
Yeah,
There's so many things
absolutely.
out there.
So it's not a trick. It's pretty straightforward. It's just, hey, first focus on your challenges, and there's plenty of solutions out there to follow, and we can match the correct solution to the problem. But if we don't have a good grip on that, then it's easy to get distracted instead of leveraging the tools like the tools saying.
You're so spot on here too, because I think, especially as we've had this uptick in tools made for our industry where we didn't for so long, or the tools didn't really meet the needs that we had and the expectations we had, it was easy to just start grabbing stuff and go, okay, let's add this to our tech stock. Let's add this to our tech stack. And then suddenly you step back and you go, did these integrate? Are we able to move our data through? Did we align on a platform? All of these things. And you have to have this very intentional plan for why before you just start grabbing stuff, because otherwise, maybe the drones that you brought to your project are interesting and cool, but have you incorporated them into a workflow that is helpful, or is this a burden because now somebody has to go do this on top of their existing work?